Hello, GhostEater again. Just wanted to, again, give a quick intro to our next podcast. I hope you guys liked the last one. You're definitely going to like this one. You're going to like them all, I swear. I have pretty awesome friends, it turns out. This next one is my really good friend, Ranebo, an artist extraordinaire. Every time I try to recite all of their many titles, I screw it up. And I'm not even going to bother. But you'll see. It's in there. And I just want to thank you for stopping by and checking us out. Still no sponsors, but again, someday we'll get there. Again, hey, Matrix, you wanna give us a 16 universe key? I could use one. I could really use one. This could use an upgrade. Get in touch. Otherwise, hey, thanks guys for checking us out. Here is my good friend Ranebo on GhostEater and Friends.
Welcome to Welcome to GhostEater and Friends.
Just to kind of give a backstory, we did have Ranebo here. Ranebo was our lovely very first guest. We didn't know what we were doing, and we fucked it all up. The audio was broken, and the video was broken.
Yep.
We accidentally recorded two cameras at the same.
One camera twice.
One camera, thank you.
Yep.
One camera twice.
Yep. Which I still say is just the technology's way of understanding that I didn't have enough face paint on at that time.
Yeah.
Because you were like, I don't think that it caught you. And I was immediately like, whew, good.
Oh, nice.
Because I was not as prepared to be on camera as I thought I was. And now I have...
Yeah. Well, now we have you lighted properly. We have an actual camera. Before we were using one face cam and a GoPro I had laying around.
Yeah.
Didn't work as well. Last time, I just honestly straight up butchered your titles and what you do. I fucked it all up. And it was kind of funny. But I don't think I'm going to try this time. Why don't you give us a brief intro of who you are and kind of what you're about?
So I'm Ranebo, and I do a wide variety of things. I work in about 30 different mediums and modalities. The primary ones that I work within is I'm an intuitive healer doing Reiki coaching and oracle card reading. I also am a creative entrepreneur. I paint anywhere from murals to shoes to bodies, watercolor, acrylic, spray paint, all different kinds of things. And then I also sew, upcycle, and alter clothing items.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I've seen some of your work.
Thank you.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so I do a lot of different stuff, and I didn't think of this originally when I titled myself Ranebo, but it makes sense that I do so many things because it's just another iteration of there being many hues to the rainbow.
Another wavelength on the spectrum, right?
And boy, am I on the spectrum.
I think I'm on a couple, to be honest.
Right.
Right. That's lovely. Oh man, well, I do want to say first off, thank you for giving us another chance.
No, absolutely. I love you guys.
Yeah, we had fun. I mean, my editor B was saying that we had a really good conversation last time, and they were feeling really engaged, and so I really wanted to try and get you back. Do it properly this time with a proper microphone, proper audio,
and video.
And video.
2 sets of video this time.
2 sets of video.
That are different.
we upgraded, now we have 2 cameras going into the same computer, and we got B switching back and forth. Right now I'm talking, so he's got on me. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Amazing.
I love it. We're real professionals now.
Big up to B.
We're getting there. Yeah, thanks, Editor B. Shout out to Editor B. Always
They laugh
helping.
in the corner.
Yeah, does not want to be on camera.
I understand.
Yeah, you know a couple things about that.
Yes.
So, what you got going on lately? Now, we're planning on releasing this, end of June? End of June. So if you got anything going on, like July or anything like that.
Boy, do I have things going on July.
Mention that.
Yes, I have two festivals that I'm going to be working for. They are going to be back to back. I'm going to be working for The Great Beyond
Oh, fun.
and Base Ribbon Pines.
Oh, okay. Are you going to be doing like VJ work?
No, not for those. For The Great Beyond, I'm going to be running a tent that I call The Middle. It is a community care tent that is the middle ground between the community and security. So if you need sunscreen or hair ties or bobby pins or gum or, like friggin' juice box, whatever it is, that's where you can come to me. But if you need something more like medical or security, then you can come to me and I'll point you to those people.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing that at the Great Beyond, which is a fantastic techno festival. It is literally 4 straight, nonstop days of techno.
Ooh, yeah.
And I tell you, when that music goes off, it's like you forget that silence exists.
So it's like those psytrance festivals. It never stops, right?
It literally never stops. like there's
96
not a
hours of techno.
It is phenomenal and intimidating. But it's so cool because people from all over. I mean, we had people from Sweden, Canada, Chicago,
sweet.
like Europe, like all over. So many different people came to this festival, and it's like a 2,000 person festival. Like, it's not a big rager.
It's pretty intimate.
It's very intimate. And that is what makes it so amazing, is because it has like big style production value with like underground quantity of people and aesthetic and like feeling. Like, it feels gritty and homemade, but with this really polished edge.
Yeah, there's still like the gritty underground tones.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty professional.
Yes. Yeah. It's really amazing. A lot of their events are like that too, where like they just had their 25th anniversary, and Telefunk is the group that puts it on. And they just had their 25th anniversary. And let me tell you, that was probably, I've gone to several hundred raves and parties in the 9 years that I've been doing events.
Sure.
And that one was probably one of my all-time favorites.
Wow, out of all of them, huh?
Out of all of them. Because it was from 10 p.m. until 10 a.m. They served pancakes at 6:30 a.m. They had burgers going in the back.
Oh, nice.
It was like ultimate warehouse, like minimalistic lighting, techno DJs. There was like 6 DJs, and each of them had a 2-hour set.
Nice.
And it was...
That's good for techno. You need like 2 hours minimum, I think.
Yeah,
for
and
techno DJs.
It was amazing. Like, I was running when I'm there, I the way that I work within Telefunk is kind of another like community care thing, because like I said, they put on the Great Beyond.
Sure.
And so when I'm in Telefunk events, I am a community liaison. So I'm looking out in the crowd, making sure there's no, uncomfortable touches happening, making sure, checking in on people that might be sitting down, zoning out, stumbling, things like that. And just kind of, again, being that middle ground for people that are, maybe they, if you think of it as like a stoplight and red is like, I need security right now.
Sure.
I deal with the green and yellow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think that's really important, though. I mean, especially if, you have a medical emergency, it could be scary to go to security, which could endanger their life.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah,
so,
like to not seek help.
Yeah, and that's definitely claimed lives before.
Yeah.
So it's really, oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that. And I mean, talk about the perfect person to set up something like that. I'm sure that you're very much appreciated down there.
It's really fantastic. I mean, last year at the Great Beyond, we had more community donations than we had expenses, and so I was actually able to tip out the people that worked the booth with me.
That is so cool.
Yeah, because it's just like it's a donation-based community store.
Sure.
So I had like snacks for people, and like I said, like sunscreen and bug spray and hair ties and stuff like that, and like a little charging station. And then the other festival that I'm going to be doing is also really cool and unique.
Yeah.
It is a bass festival, like a bass music EDM festival, and it is Base Ribbon Pines.
Oh, that's at like the disc golf place,
It
right?
is. So it is
Yeah.
a disc golf tournament during a festival.
Oh, whoa, that's fucking awesome. Me and Cooper,
Yeah,
Cooper
and
and
Jordan.
Jordan, we go way back.
Yes.
We go way back. They're
Same.
definitely friends of the Ghost Eater.
Yeah, same here actually. Jordan, I first started meeting and knowing of Jordan when I was working at Skyway Theater.
Sure.
I stopped working with Skyway Theater in like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
If you don't know, just Google Boycott Skyway on Facebook. You'll find it.
You'll find it.
You'll
Some sick
find it.
memes too.
Oh, good memes. There's another incredible group called Stop Inviting Me to Skyway.
Shout out to Tyler.
So good. The dankest of memes. Yeah, and so Jordan at that time was working with Skyway, and so I would, kind of know Jordan and Cooper and kind of came into contact with them fairly regularly because I've been doing this for 9 years, and I average about 3 to 6 shows per month for the entire 9 years. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's more than me, and I used to like work them. I suppose
I do work them.
that's probably why, I used to work them too. Like,
Yeah.
I used to also do like production and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So it's like
Instead of just perform at them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Instead of just perform at them.
Right, yeah. I used to perform sometimes. Like, I've been at like Infrasound and stuff, but I remember I actually showed up to Infrasound. I can't remember what year. It was like 2015.
When it was at NCN? Or when it was at...
It was at NCN.
Oh, take me back.
I literally was asked to bring lasers, and I actually borrowed a bunch of lasers. So I showed up with like a car full of lasers. I had like 6 or 7 of them on me. I can't remember. And they like forgot about me.
Oh.
So they put me on the flyer and everything, but they like didn't put me on the guest list. So I show up literally on a car full of lasers, and I'm like, all right, here, I'm and this is what I'm doing, I was using my human name.
Yeah.
And they were like, we don't have any record of you. I was like, I'm on the flyer. Like, what do you mean? I'm Ghost Eater. That's me. And I have a car full of lasers. Didn't you guys want these lasers? And they're like, oh, okay. So
Oh my
it
goodness.
worked out. I mean, it was pretty obvious I was there to work.
Yeah.
So, but they literally put me on, like, I think I was competing with Tipper. So, I had
The
some
sunrise
homies,
set
like,
with Tipper?
what?
The sunrise set with Tipper?
No, they had it was like, I think it's like 10 or 11, but I was like, at the same time on like the beach stage or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to have a very big audience competing with Tipper, but I had a lot of fun.
Yep.
And they didn't, like they had fun with the lasers and stuff. So.
Yeah. And I'm sure plenty of people thoroughly enjoyed the lasers too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts when I did lasers. First time you turn them on, almost universally, you get a crowd cheer.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Did you go to the Low and High event that they did at the Poorhouse recently? It was on April 21st.
No, I don't think I did.
Oh my gosh. Interstellar lighting.
Oh yeah,
Had
I
some of the
tried
most
to book them.
insane
They were big.
lasers.
Because I needed more LED wall, and they didn't have it on hand, I think.
Yeah.
And I was I'm a big fan of LEDs.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're partially
it's a
made
little
out of
weird.
them, so it makes
It's
sen's.
a little weird. Yeah, I know. No one. People look at me and they're like, "You don't like lights. That's ridiculous."
Not
But I do. Don't let my boyish charm fool you. I like it. I like it a lot. And so I needed it. I was really insistent that I had an LED wall. I mean, honestly, like, I really did that for me more than anything. I almost cried when they were setting that up. I was like, man, my own LED wall set up just for me.
Check.
And not a lot of people came. I lost a lot of money, but it was like post-pandemic,
Oh, yeah.
And I had 2 separate friend groups.
How into the pandemic? I don't think there's ever going to be a post to the pandemic,
right.
but
It was September of 2021.
oh yeah, still fresh.
And
Still fresh on the nerves.
I had all these deposits and stuff that were being on hold for a year, and I was going to lose them.
Yep.
The venue was like, I mean, are you going to do it? It's like, yeah. So I had to pull the trigger.
Yep.
I had to make the project exist.
Yep.
Yeah, that was our first show.
I was gonna say, is that the first iteration of Ghost Eater? Or?
Yeah, the first GhostEater experience.
Wow, you're only like 2 years old.
I know, I know. We're pretty young. We're pretty young as a project.
Yeah.
And that, we haven't done too much stuff, but that's kind of why. It's like we're young. We're still in that weird phase where we're cheap, but like, we're still unknown. So even our cheap, moderate prices is still like, oh, for some promoters, like, oh, what the fuck are you? And it's hard to explain what this is.
As a fellow anonymous artist, it can be, it's definitely a barrier. I remember when I first started and I was telling the people I was working with, I was like, yep, I'm going to wear a mask. I'm going to hide my face. I'm not going to show it on social media. People were like, that's going to impact your growth. It's going to impact your reach. It's going to impact your ability to get out there. And I was just like, that's fine.
Yeah, fuck it. We ball.
Before I came over here, I literally saw a meme of those roly-poly bugs, and it said, if you don't love me at my roly, you don't deserve me at my poly. And then you swipe and it was all rolled up and it said, we ball.
Yes. Fuck yeah. Exactly. I live my life like that.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, what's your purpose for having a fully embodied character?
Well, that's a good question, actually. No one's ever asked me that before.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, especially not in an official capacity.
Well, you're recorded now, so.
Yeah, I'll be happy to explain. Well, it actually was pretty organic. I initially started this project with another human named John. And, I really liked lights and stuff, and he helped come up with, like, the Ghost Eater name. He's very, very good at that kind of stuff. And we were trying to do some branding. We were trying to set ourselves apart. And I don't know, I used to work production, and this is a little cliche, but when Deadmau5 came into town at an Epic in 2010, I actually worked.
Oh my gosh, Epic.
Yeah, dude, you remember Epic?
Oh my gosh,
I was working,
take me back.
I worked for the owner of, like, the sound systems in there. His name was Rob. And I was, like, there just to basically haul cases and fix cables. That was what I was doing. But I tell ya, he put on that LED fucking helmet, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I'm going to have one of those or I will fucking die trying.
Yep.
And it did take a couple years. That was like 2010, and all of the LED tech back then was like pretty undeveloped.
Yeah.
Like in 2007, when Daft Punk did their Pyramid, I read that they pretty much exhausted the world supply of LEDs at that time.
Oh.
Because it was such an infant technology. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
But I read that. And anyway, so I figured that, man, this would be kind of cool, and then I just kind of saw how far I could take it. And it turns out I could take it pretty far.
Yep.
I'm going to try and take it even farther. But then I thought, big picture. I was like, okay, this actually is cool. And I figured out how to make music that is good. So I was like, well, now I got to figure this mask and stuff out, in earnest, right?
Yeah.
And so I did a little bit of research and, spent some money. For anyone curious, this breaks the veil a little bit, but I mean, this is just LED tape zip tied to a Spider-Man mask.
Okay, but ingenious.
Hey, it fucking works.
It's ingenious. I remember the first time I saw it up close.
Yeah.
I was like, no way, is it that simple?
Yeah.
It's that simple, but it's just truly a testament to how the simple solutions are some of the most valuable ones.
Yeah.
Because it has to be flexible, it has to be breathable.
Yep, I have to be able to DJ and stuff.
You have to see.
I see, and I actually produce with it on sometimes, on stream, which is a little cumbersome.
Yep.
But then going further, I saw the opportunity that I have afforded myself.
Yeah.
I can represent any human being that exists.
Yep.
I am genderless. I don't have genitals of any kind.
Yep.
I appear pretty male, but that's really just a byproduct of biology and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought really I could just lean into it. I mean, you say that it's best to build a character to kind of separate your human form from your artistic form anyways. And I thought, I got this far.
Yeah.
I should just see how far I can go. Take it to 11, So
Yeah.
my goal is to be in Star Wars and ultimately throw a rave on Mars. Yeah.
Possible. Totally possible.
Hey, I mean, might as well make astronomical goals if you're going to do it.
Astronautical goals, maybe?
Astronomical. Yeah, astronautical. Boats in space. I think I said it right.
Oh, fantastic.
So yeah, I'm glad you asked. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's rare to see a fellow anonymous creator.
Yeah. I mean, I try to maintain that too.
Yeah.
You can figure it all out if you really wanted to.
Yeah, but like maybe don't be a dick and suspend the disbelief.
Yeah, exactly. This is all art. It's a giant social experiment.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but that's kind of what festivals are as well.
Yeah.
Little microcosm experiments of social behavior.
Yes, which I think is one of the things that when people experience a festival for the first time, I think that's part of the draw that they experience.
Yeah.
Is they're just like, whoa, I just saw into one of the most raw experiences of humanity.
Yeah.
Like festivals, you build a small city for a couple of days and then you tear it down. Like it
goes even farther that, like, think about it. All of the technology, all of the work that goes into taking a outside space and essentially turning it into a concert venue outside. It really requires every type of skill and talent that you can imagine. And, I mean, think about it. You fucking humans, man. You guys literally woke up one day, you're like, where the fuck am I? And you literally took the universe as it is, and for hundreds of years, broke down how the laws of your universe actually work. And you take these things, and you do things, like throw gigantic parties in fields for like 4 days at a time. Like, that is truly the universe experiencing itself to the max.
Yeah, and expressing itself too.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I love you humans. I really do. I'm glad I was stranded on such a beautiful planet. I really do. So I did kind of want to talk to you, about, we're going to kind of rehash some of the stuff we talked about before, but, that unfortunately conversation got lost to the ether. So,
may it enjoy it.
One thing I really enjoy about you is your duality of both embracing the kind of supernatural and the unknown, but also viewing it in a lens of practicality that I think is missing in this world for these like the people who are in supernatural practitioners and that kind of stuff. I think more science needs to be infused with that, because, I mean, hey, we don't know what's going on. Ultimately. I mean, and what we have figured out is insane. I mean, just look at cell phones. I mean, you literally take electrons, you take spicy electrons, and you put them into a computer that is more powerful than the space shuttle, and then you literally send ones and zeros in two different beeps, two different tones, really fast, to satellites that you launch into space, and then you send more ones and zeros to some other guy who's got another one of those devices.
Ping pong, ping, 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 ping.
And you communicate instantaneously. Now that's literally lightning. You're literally using lightning to talk to your homie in like France. Like, that is crazy. Right?
So cool.
Who knows? There could be things like the supernatural world, there could be.
Well, and I think that when it comes to science, like we have this yearning and this desire to explain what we are fascinated by and what we're curious about.
Sure.
And we're constantly hungering and searching for that. And so when it comes to spiritualism, it's kind of it's something that, like can get written off as not worthy of pursuing because of the like woo woo elements. Bumping things.
It's
Because
okay.
of the like woo woo elements of things. But yeah, I mean, my mom and my mom's side of the family is a very spiritual side of the family, and my dad is like a complete agnostic.
Right.
And so I was raised in the duality, and I think that that's one of the most valuable things that my parents have given me is that I feel like I was raised in the gray area in an increasingly polarizing world.
Yeah, you can see multiple perspectives that way that not a lot of people are afforded.
Yeah, and then when I practice that, I help other people practice it too because I think that spiritualism is and like spiritual elements and spiritual forms of healing is deeply valuable. And I also will be the first person to say that if it's only valuable because it's an elaborate placebo effect, well,
So
if
be
it's
it.
not hurting anybody, then I think that that's fine.
Yeah,
You know?
it has demonstratable, measurable effects.
Yes, it
So
really
it is
does.
real in effect,
Yeah.
one way or another.
Yeah, I just think it's just about the balance of like one of the things I always tell my clients and one of the things that I always teach because it is all too often that we see people who are spiritual lean so far into it that they lose their grasp of reality, they lose their ability to have this like cognitive reasoning.
Sure, it messes with their objectivity.
Yes. Yeah, and they fall from this like curiosity skeptical element into just like it gets really wild. There's a really awesome podcast that's called Conspirituality about the crossover between spirituality and conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah, Jack, the Wook to QAnon pipeline.
Nice phrasing.
Shout out to Jack Denny for that one.
Nice. Shout out to Jack Denny. I just realized the other day that I went to school with him and was friends. I like didn't put together who his sister was and who he was.
Oh, me neither. I recently did.
Yeah, like it was at the Low and High 421 show.
Oh, you're like,
Where she was like,
know
oh my
Denny.
God. Yeah. She was like, oh, last time I saw you was when my brother was playing. And I was like, oh my God, why did it take this long for me to be like her and I have been friends since I was like 15. It's
Oh wow.
yeah. Yeah. Like we, like it literally took me this long to realize that Jack is her brother.
Right.
And I'm like, you knew me before Rainbow existed. Like, what even is this?
Yeah, right. There's things you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we both knew each other when we were rough.
Yeah, I had some of those years.
Right?
Like
Middle school.
2011 through 2012
Yeah.
was a little out of control. Let's just say for my life.
I think we need it. It's part of the balance to fall into the extremes. But going back to the spiritualism and the extremes of spiritualism, like one of the things that I always tell my clients is that because I do coaching and Reiki healing and stuff like that, and it's very
Right.
easy when someone is helping you and guiding you for the client to pedestalize the practitioner.
Oh yeah, because it's like a guiding
Yep.
person,
Yeah.
right? Guiding relationship naturally.
Yeah.
Probably has some of those tones with it.
Yeah, and just because I may be introducing you to ideas, tools, and concepts that you were not privy to prior does not mean that I am better.
Right.
It does not mean that that you should replace your own inherent wisdom with my own. And so there's actually like a series of prefaces that I go through with my new clients when I'm orienting them in that is me directly stating, like, your safety is not determined upon you agreeing with me. You can tell me that I'm wrong. Shut up. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to use this tool. This isn't working. You can say that at any time. I tell them, I do not consent to you pedestalizing me. My goal here is to get you deeper in touch with your own wisdom,
Right.
and for you to find tools that fit within your needs so that you can grow and live the life that you want to live. I want to look at the ways that you're standing in your own way, figure out if these are things you want to change, and then assist you on that journey.
Cool.
But this,
Yeah.
I am client-led, service-driven when it comes to the intuitive healing, Reiki, and coaching that I do for people, because it's so often that we can see people just like, I mean, let's be serious, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It feels good to have someone appreciate you, to have someone value you. And it can be really easy for people to just lean all of the way into that and end up creating cult-like atmospheres.
Sure. Yeah. They get a little too far. They don't really see it objectively anymore, and then it kind of distorts their perspective, which sounds like kind of like a feedback loop almost.
Yeah, and then the other added element of like the ways that old school marketing is so gaslighty.
Oh yeah, like they literally want to make you insecure, right? So they can sell you something to fix that.
Exactly. Like if you look at the methodology of old school marketing, it is find the pain point, push on the pain point,
and offer a solution.
And then offer a solution and make them believe and have the reason that you're the only one that can find the solution.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why one of the biggest things that I speak of, like I said prior, is like, I am not your solution. I help you find your own.
Right.
And that's why I say I am a guide. I am not... I refuse to be... Like, I deny people pedestalizing me. One of my favorite creators, Simone Soul, she says the way that she detaches from people's adoration and dislike of her is she says, you know, when someone says, Simone, you saved my life, she goes, you saved your life and you put my face on it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like to think of it as like, I can't save you, but I can help you save yourself.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly it. It falls into all these other, you know, kind of like one-liners that we can say in terms of like, you know, there's no such thing as one-sided liberation. When we liberate ourselves, we liberate other people.
Yeah.
And when we help us, we help ourselves. When we heal loudly, we stop others from suffering quietly.
Oh, I like that. Ooh, that's so pretty.
That's really big in like addiction stories. When we heal or get sober loudly, we stop other people from suffering quietly. And I think that's one of the most, there's so many terrible things about social media. And I think one of the most incredible things about it is that it is allowing people to understand themselves better because we feel less alone. We know that, oh, like other people struggle with this. Other people have had the same experience. This is human. Yeah, something you don't know too much about, but I'm assuming social media has helped teach you.
I will admit, you guys are confusing as fuck.
Oh, yes. Yes. Duality, contradiction galore.
Oh, yeah. Quite a dichotomy, but I'm loving it. I think humans are some of the most terrifying things I've ever seen, and by far the most beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
How long have you been doing the Reiki?
So I've been doing Reiki for...
Reiki, sorry.
That's all right. Learning.
Yeah.
I got my Reiki certification for Reiki 1 and 2 in 2019. I got my master's in 2021.
Nice. Cool.
So I've been doing it for about 4 years now. And it's something that I had always been interested in, and you'll hear this, I've heard this from a lot of other people when it comes to their interest in Reiki. And this is how I felt for myself, that I knew that I was really interested in it, but I wanted to wait until I found the right teacher, until it felt like I like it was like presented to me.
Sure.
You know?
Okay, yeah.
It had to like gestate for a while within me. And the interesting thing about that was once I had found the teacher, once the blocks aligned for me to go, I found out that my grandma and my grandpa on my mom's side both got certified and up to level 2 of Reiki.
Oh yeah, you were saying it's wow, around the same time?
No.
They were before you just found out.
Yeah, and I had just found out as I was learning Reiki. I was like, oh, like Mom and Dad, I'm learning how to do this Reiki stuff, and I'm super excited. And my mom was like, oh, cool. Did you know that Muzz and Fuzz also like took Reiki classes, and one of their dear friends is a Reiki master and taught them all that stuff? And I was like,
what?
What? And they were like, yeah, because my grandpa was a pastor at a church. She was like, yeah, like they would have the Reiki students come in, and any people that were in the congregation could stay back and they could get Reiki from these people. And I'm sitting here like,
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the openness of the church and the idea that it's welcoming kind of other styles of faith, honestly.
Yep.
Like, that's really interesting. That's pretty cool. I have a human aunt who's also like a New Age pastor
Yeah.
in like St.
Cool.
Paul. And because, my human family, we were, Catholic, really Catholic.
Wow.
And then, I got confirmed as Ghost Eater. And, yeah, it's pretty funny, actually. I got confirmed, and then the church decided they hated gay people.
Yep.
And then my mom was like, wait a minute, I love gay people. I guess no more church.
Yep.
And I was like, really, church? You couldn't be bigoted like a fucking couple years ago?
Right?
Get me out of God confirmation.
Right. It's amazing how churches misunderstand and misconstrued so many elements of their actual scripture.
God, I know. You'd think they would read it. Like, you'd think they would take the time to understand what's inside of it.
Right? Like, I mean, if you look at, it's literally not Christ-like of them.
Right.
Like,
right.
Jesus hung out with prostitutes, with sinners, with tax collectors.
Yeah, that's right. I love how even thousands of years ago, everyone hates the goddamn tax collectors.
Maybe we need a different system, am I right?
We've been hating taxes for literally thousands of years. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, like my aunt, the New Age part of it, and she is like, I think considered Catholic. I don't know. It all confuses me.
Yeah.
But she kind of teaches about Jesus Christ and that stuff. But it's like it's the New Age message. It's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's acknowledging trans rights are human rights. Gay people fucking exist.
Yeah.
Okay?
And
deal with
trans people and non-binary people and gay people, they're not new.
Right.
They have existed. They're just done with hiding.
Yeah,
and
being
now,
prosecuted.
And being prosecuted and being literally killed.
Yep. Yeah, that's important.
It's very important for us to recognize that it's not that these people haven't existed. It's not that they're not new. You look at many different other cultures and non-binary, twin spirit people,
right,
trans people have always existed, and they've been revered a lot because there's this incredible human named Alok Vedmenon.
Okay.
And they are an incredible educator about they are a poet first.
Sure.
And that makes so many of the things that they speak about and that they write about just delicious to take in and to read.
Because of that perspective and stuff too.
Yeah, and because the way that it's presented is so deeply human, and it makes you feel seen even as you're learning. It's really fascinating.
That is really fascinating.
Yeah, and they do a lot of education around the history of the creation of the two sexes of male and female, and how that's actually fairly new.
Yeah, I always wondered about that because, back in the day, without science and stuff, I mean, it was probably, just what you looked at, basically. You get what you got, what you look at. And I mean, prejudices are pretty cultural, So I'd imagine when they first kind of came about, it was just more or less a curiosity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've been reading, Neil deGrasse Tyson I'm a big fan of.
Yes.
And I can't remember what it was exactly, but it might have been the Cosmos series.
Yep.
But he was talking about how, humans historically are not actually violent in nature. Back in the hunter-gatherer days, even when it was getting a little crowded as the populations were growing, it was much more common for different tribes to just avoid each other.
Yeah.
They would, because strange typically meant death.
Yep.
So they would just we'll go their separate ways.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really any, countries and stuff back then. So they didn't really, have any borders to worry about or anything like that. They're just well, you guys are over there, we're going this way. Why don't you guys just go this way? We'll keep going this way. And I mean, that's actually pretty true in other, more other animals, like primates and stuff that have like culture.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. It is a relatively peaceful culture, even like chimps and stuff. So the idea that we're naturally warlike and aggressive and all that, that's actually bullshit. We don't need to be. You know, if you think about it, no human is born prejudiced.
Yeah. And I also think that when it comes to us functioning in tribes, we're naturally collaborative.
Right. And that's another kind of bullshit lie from the culture of the United States.
Yep.
Individualism.
Rugged individualism and nationalism.
I'm gonna be blunt. Individualism, straight up lie. You cannot be born alone. You cannot grow alone. You cannot be educated alone.
Yep.
You cannot survive and function alone. You can't even be conceived by one person. It's simply not. It doesn't exist. It's bullshit.
Well,
it's lies.
And not to mention, that sounds fucking miserable.
Yeah, I know, right?
Why would you want to be? Maybe I just got a big heart. All right, like I mean, my shirt. A little more kindness, please.
I love it.
This is one of my favorite shirts to wear, and like there is so much more value in being kind, compassionate, understanding, curious, and collaborative.
Absolutely.
Than there is in being bigoted, shut out, individualistic, hateful. Like it just.
Sphere.
Why?
It's fear-based.
It
Fear-based
is.
versus love-based.
Yeah. Well, have you heard how fear comes from love?
You know, I don't think I have, but that makes sense. Can you expand on that?
3 primary ways that fears come from love. Either you loved someone and they hurt you, so now you hate them or fear them. Someone you loved taught you to hate them or fear them.
Sure.
Or what's the third one? I can't remember the third one off the top of my head, but those are the 2 ones that like hit the hardest for me. Is like first you loved them and then they hurt you, or someone that you loved. Oh, the third one is someone you love. You were hurt by someone you love was hurt by them, and then you hate them or fear them.
I see. So it's like a third party perspective.
Yeah. So it's either like you experienced this, someone taught you to think this, or indirectly, you witnessed it. And then that is where this hate and this fear comes from.
Sure.
Is truly, it comes from us trying to protect ourselves. And I think when we look to the root of so many of the maladaptive and dysfunctional ways, the hurtful ways that people show up in interpersonal communication and relationships, it comes from a deep place of protection.
Absolutely. I mean, all of that, it's kind of related. Like, fear, if you break it down, I prefer to just break everything down to the as basic level as I can. Yeah. That's how I seek to comfort in the world, is try to understand it. Yeah. And just go all the way back. And if you think about like what fear served as, what purpose it served. Yep. In like an
evolutionary psychology standpoint.
Exactly. Like, why does it exist? It exists because we evolved, and we evolved in an environment where we had to be protective because, frankly, nature is incredibly brutal. Yep. It's just, that's the way it is. I mean, that is existence. We gotta acknowledge that. I mean, it is predator-prey relationship. You got it all, right? But it honestly, it can be changed. You know what I mean? It can be adapted. All of our fears these days, they kind of come more from self-created problems. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's something that we can adjust, and I think I give you guys a break because honestly, if you think about it, even things that we are trying to base our whole lives on, like in the entertainment industry, it's like 70 years old, roughly. That is a blink of an eye.
Yeah. It's a blink of an eye. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
So
it
nothing.
Barely exists.
It's not even one entire human life when you think of it being a long human life.
Right.
It's like a person into retirement. That's it.
That's it. And so I take that into consideration that, things like social media and the huge variety of problems that we currently face, I think they're left over from a culture and a civilization that is simply growing up, maturing. Developing. If you think about it, if you kind of map out the human experience on a historic time frame,
Yeah.
that is, you know, essentially we kind of look at our ancestors with a mixture of like, you know, sorrow and thankfulness, you know? Like, but we stand on the shoulders of giants who are themselves standing on shoulders of giants. You know what I mean?
You're talking about the elephants that hold up the world, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's all levels, right?
Yeah. Actually, my most recent podcast episode is very akin to this. It's called Spiral. Well, my podcast is called Raindrops, RANE drops.
Yeah.
And
Love them.
you've been listening?
Oh, I've been checking them out.
Thank you. Yeah, so the most recent one is about this metaphor that I love about a spiral library. And so if we think about life as circular, we can get really fed up with the idea that things are going to keep looping.
Sure.
But if we allow that circle to actually be a spiral, we look at it from the 2 into the 3 dimension.
Yeah, oh, I like it.
Then it becomes something where we are leveling up as we experience
It's
similar
growth.
things throughout our life. Because we see this in history all the time. We see the recurrence of wars, famine, heartache, whatever.
Nazis. Okay.
Genocide. We see the recurrence of all these things, and it's one way to feel of like, oh, these things are happening again, they're going to be terrible. And there's another way that we can look at it. Like I said, if we go into this 3-dimensional view of this spiral coming upwards as we learn and we grow and we evolve.
Right.
And the element of the library within this is, think of this spiral as being a spiral staircase going up in a library, and there's each of these different levels.
It's like books all around.
Yep. Yeah. So there's these different levels of each part of the spiral, and there's books on each of these different levels. And so we, the spinny little tool works. So
There you
we go around the level, and we read all the books on this level. And then we start getting to a point where we're like, wait, I've read this book before. I know how this ends if it keeps playing out like this. I don't want it to end this way anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
And then we have to take the stairs to the next level,
Sure. Okay.
which is grueling and it's exhausting. And it's even harder if we carry all the books from the last level with us up. There is some use in having some books in our book bag. It'll help inform us as we get up to the next level. It's important for us to remember the things that we learned to bring it forward onto the next part, you know, like to increase our learning and education. But there are some books that just don't serve us as we move from level to level. So we go up and we hike our way up to the next level, and it's hard and it's uncomfortable, and our foundation, our thighs, they're burning. And we finally get up to this next level, and we are like so excited because there's so many new books, and we're like, yes, new things, new learning opportunities. And then the more we look around, we're very overwhelmed because there are so many new books.
Right. You're like, hold on.
Yeah, right? And you start getting overwhelmed, and you're like, okay, all right, one at a time. That's how I read the books on the last level. I read them one at a time. So you start taking each situation, each new life experience, each book, and you read it front to back, one at a time, and you go all the way around this circle, and you start realizing as you're reading, like, oh crap, yeah, all right, we're starting to read the same books again.
Yeah.
And then in each of those times where you're like, oh, I'm doing the same patterns. Oh, we as a society, we as a friend group, we as a community,
Sure.
we as a whatever.
We're all about cycles in nature, right?
Exactly.
I mean, day and night, seasons.
Seasons.
We've all been
Life
here
and
before
death.
in May. We've been here a couple times now.
Yeah. And we get that choice each time we come around and we realize that we're looping to say, do I want to stay on this level and keep reading these books? Do I have more that I need to learn from this level? Or is it time for me to take the stairs again?
Sure.
And I think that we're at a point in our growth as a human species where we're taking the stairs.
Yeah.
And it's not comfy
Yeah.
for a lot of
That's a
people.
very great analogy. Beautifully spoken.
Thank you.
I think that's correct. I really do. I mean, you see change. You see good, positive change.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people trying to stop it. But frankly, I think a lot of that stems from the 1% and their manipulation of all culture. You know?
Oh my goodness.
So-
I could get angry about the dragons that are sitting on piles of gold.
Oh, I know.
That's what it is.
Let's talk about it. Put it on the internet. I mean, think about this. Maybe someone in the 1% will see this. I think you're a fucking idiot. You have more wealth than you could ever utilize. Ever.
They have more wealth than one person getting paid a livable wage could ever accumulate working every single minute of every single day for the entirety existence that humans have existed.
Exactly.
If you math it out and one person worked at $25 an hour every single moment of every single day for the entirety that the humans have existed, you would still not be as rich as the richest person.
And how are you going to utilize that wealth? I mean, you literally can't. You literally cannot. And let's take someone like Bezos. If we took Bezos and we took all of his money up to $1 billion, he had 900,900,999 goddamn dollars.
And 99 cents.
99 cents. That's all he fucking gets.
Yeah.
His life will not fucking change.
Nope.
Not drastically.
Nope.
He's still going to live in unimaginable luxury.
Yep.
More than anyone else. But we could take that wealth, we could distribute it equally, and we could literally all live in comparative mansions.
Yeah.
And the world would not fucking suffer.
Yeah.
They really wouldn't. Now, they want to convince you that, the inequality, it just has to be that way. We just have to be that way because, nature. I know I just happen to benefit greatly from the inequality, but that's just the way it is. We just gotta have it be that way, And that's what bothers me so much. I mean, these guys clearly have an ego. They want to do good by the human race, which I appreciate. I think they should do good by the human race, but they do it by being fucking selfish.
Yep.
And they're like, that's just how capitalism works. Yeah. And it really doesn't need to be that way. You can have fucking limits on capitalism.
Yes.
You could redistribute
caps on capitalism,
all of this wealth. Well, it's stupid. I mean, think about it. Think about Apple. Apple took $800 billion in the Panama Papers. They extracted it, and they took it and put it offshore, and they didn't pay taxes on it. Yeah. Okay? That effectively extracted $800 billion from the United States economy as well as the world. It literally just made it less valuable.
Yep.
That's all they fucking did.
Yep.
And what changes? How does Apple benefit? Their behavior doesn't change. They don't do anything different. They don't act different. They pretend it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah.
What the fuck for?
Yeah.
Who thinks that is a good fucking idea?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I mean, they could literally change the world tomorrow if they just woke the fuck up, but no, they're just like, nah.
Or if we were able to put, like you said, like caps, rules, and regulations in place. And I think the thing that stops a lot of people from being more on board with that is we have this American dream idea
that like they personally will be limited.
Because what if I reach that point and I wouldn't want that limit on myself?
It's like, well, first of all, you're pathetic then.
Well, it's like, well, first of all, honey, I don't know if you've realized, but as long as they are that high up, you're not gonna get there.
They made sure of it.
This is they're the reason why.
Yeah.
And also, like, again, like you said when we started off this element of this conversation, $1 billion is still, like, legitimately, in the true definition of the word, it is an unfathomable amount of wealth.
And it's stupid.
It's and that's just a B. Stupid. That's not even a trillion. That's not even with the T. It's just a B.
Yeah. It's 1,000 million. It's 1,000 million. I can't, what the fuck?
Literally unfathomable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even a goddamn human, and I have trouble with that.
Yeah.
I think it's just ridiculous. And I mean, look, I'm not trying to rage at too many people here. I don't care if you're fucking rich. I'm hoping I can make some good money myself. But I'll never be a billionaire. I'll never be a billionaire.
And I think even if I got to that point, I'd be too much of a philanthropist to be able to be a billionaire either.
Exactly.
Because I don't think...
Whoa, hey guys, too much.
Yeah. Like one of the biggest goals that I have, like, as soon as I am making enough money for me to feel comfortable, like, I want to create scholarships with the wealth that I bring in to be able to help other people pay off their student loan, pay off their medical debt. I want to be able to give my parents every single modification to their house and their lawn and their property that they want.
I want to buy my dad a boat.
Yes. If my dad doesn't want a boat, I'd probably get him a new kayak. He would want that kind of a boat. But
my dad really likes boats.
Yeah. It's like having people that, like, making it so that people that have grown up impoverished or lower middle class or upper lower class, having them have income, like, so long as it's supported by educating them on ways to spend that, because a lot of the times people that have not had a lot of money, they don't have a great relationship with it, and so they won't know how to engage with it when they have more of it, which is why you see so many lottery winners going bankrupt within the first 2 to 5 years of them winning.
Because it's like mandatory financial training with that. Honestly, my dream is to make it big, and then I want to fund research for UBI, Universal Basic Income. Make some programs and study it, because look, at the end of the day, when we're talking about these things, I mean, the current system we have is unsustainable, and it's reaching its tipping point. I mean, these rich people, they erode at the rule of law because they forget how much they depend on it. I mean, if they didn't have the cops, if they didn't have the rule of law, they would be skinned alive in the street. I mean, fuck.
Look at the French and the way they treated, did you know the last time that the guillotine was used in France was in 1976?
Yeah, I read that. I know, I couldn't fucking believe that either. 1970?
70s. And my favorite part is literally the headline said, "Heads will roll for the last time."
Did you know that the guillotine was actually invented as a humane way to execute people?
Yeah.
Because, back in the day, they didn't really, they didn't even have, guns that worked very well. They had some, but it wasn't a fucking, M16 or anything.
Yeah.
So, usually, if you were executed and you were poor, it sucked ass because they would just hang you, which is a shitty way to die. But if you were rich, what they would do is they would hire a guy with a sword, a guy with a really sharp sword who's really good with it.
Yeah.
Well, slice your head off. That's actually a pretty painless way to die. I mean,
yeah, because your nervous system is severed, and so you're not really going to receive the pain.
Yeah, exactly. It's just you're out.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to be guillotined or anything, but compared to being hanged or just horribly butchered with a sword, it was preferable.
Yeah. I was gonna make a joke about I might not show my face, but I sure do like it attached to my head and to my body.
Fucking me too, man.
Right.
Me fucking too. Well, listen, I think we had our time. Did we hit our time?
We're almost at an hour.
Yeah, we're almost at an hour, and I think we've had a fucking fantastic conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the ways that it was the same and different from our last conversation.
Yeah, it is pretty cool that way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The last conversation, that's just going to be Ghost Eater lore. That's between us.
Yeah.
We're going to have Brian back again, too. I've completely messed up the other interview right after you as well.
You're just killing it.
Well,
literally murdering it. It's dead. It's gone.
That was even worse because, with you, I was unaware of our failings.
Yeah.
So I was having a great time. But with Brian, everything failed, and I was like, oh, that's not good. And then that motherfucker talked so goddamn loud that he was getting picked up on my voice 100% of the time. Which I couldn't fix it at the time because we only had one audio channel.
Yeah.
Where this one, we recorded it twice into my Apollo, so it's really good sounding, and it's going to be a lot better. So I just want to say one more time, thank you so much for giving us another chance.
Absolutely.
This is going to be sweet. This is going to be our best looking one yet. And one more time, you got anything to promote? You got your socials, you got your podcast. Let's get it all on there one more time.
Absolutely, yeah. So my name is Ranebo. It's spelled Ranebo. I just released my website a month or so ago. It's rainbow.space because that's what I do. I hold space for you and I create beautiful spaces.
Love it.
I was pretty psyched about it when I saw that was a suffix I could use. You can also find all my social medias on campsite.bio/rainbow. Anytime I say rainbow, assume it's spelled my way. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. I technically have a TikTok, but I threw that shit out the window because I got exhausted from managing so many social media platforms.
Sure.
One of my two biggest darlings is my Facebook group, Warriors of the Rainbow on Facebook. I do daily questions Monday through Friday that are themed to different themes throughout the day and the week, and we all have a fun little discussion about that. I also recently started a Discord, which is Sunshine and Rain, and you can also find that link on my campsite.
Is that RANE too?
Yes.
That's Sunshine and Rain?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, on my Facebook and on my Instagram, I do fairly daily affirmation cards. I'm available for hire as a oracle card reader, Reiki healer, and intuitive coach and guide. I'm also available for some commissions. I am very selective in who I take on for commissions, but if you would like to see the creations that I already have, which also includes a lot of fantastic apparel, check out my website where you can also find reviews from different clients, from Reiki clients to coaching clients, and a lot of other really fun stuff. If you like hearing me talk and you like my voice, and you think it's cool what I have to say, definitely check out my podcast, Raindrops. They are little bite-sized morsels of love, wisdom, tips, tools, and tricks from me to you. They literally, each episode is under 10 minutes long. So it's just a really nice bite-sized thing. You're not committing to a whole hour-long episode. And it kind of...
Not like some people.
Yeah. I don't know how people do it, man. Like... I guess it makes sense that you're going to be interviewing people because it's way easier to talk for an hour with someone else there. I bet. Yeah, I feel like I like making my stuff something that's like digestible and easy to engage with, because like I said, I'm client-centered, service-based. And so when I am working with people, they're often people that are in a hard time, that they're struggling. They're and that's, you don't really want to commit to reading a 400-page book, to listening to an hour-long episode. Sometimes you just need a little 3, 5, 6, 7 minute long podcast episode.
Especially if you're almost in crisis.
Exactly. Like, just give it a little listen. I really love them. And I just recently did my Boundaries in Business class for creative entrepreneurs, and it was really well received. I'm going to be posting some reviews of that. Reviews, actually, by the time this comes out, will already be posted. Nice. And I'm probably going to be scheduling up another round of that because it was so well received.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So glad to hear it.
I highly recommend following me on those things. And yeah.
Sounds good. Well, before you take off that mask, I'd love to get a picture.
Yes, let's do it.
Just to commemorate. But again, Rainbow, thank you so much. It's been such a blast. I hope to have you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I said, this is our best looking one yet. So, and our best sounding.
Just a couple of weirdos not showing their faces, talking about.
You're just gonna have to guess how beautiful we are.
That's one of the reasons why I stopped showing my face. Is I was like, I'm so sick of being conventionally attractive. We're not even gonna go there. Too. Yeah, we some pretty people. All
right, love. Well, thanks again.
Yeah, bye everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to GhostEater and Friends.